I grew up in the age of information. We're now currently in the middle of the age of social, as you know. Fundamentally, it's changed. But where it's headed is the world of context, or interest, where people are going to cluster in small villages, small tribes, and understand that they can have deep, intimate communication and communities there. And I think we're longing for it. I think we're yearning for those experiences. So wouldn't it be cool to put your brand in the middle of those, or even deliver one of those experiences? The sixth largest contributor to stress today is media overload. We know that there's a challenge in terms of attention. But if you do get it right, mind share equals market share, and that's where consumers are going to pass your brand on. There's an amazing quote from an amazing lady which I love. It's Katharine Hepburn, and this is it. If you obey all the rules, you miss all the fun. I think what we need to do is get into a fast experimentation mode. The platforms allow us to do that because you fundamentally have between 6 seconds and 13 hours to tell your brand story today. You're not limited to 30s and 60s across television. You have these different brand expressions today, these different engines to tell your story. So I would love to see you embrace a fast fail culture. The ability to make sure that you can fail frequently and fast to get to success sooner, because it's so much fun. So when I see a brand think about what they're going to do for a new product launch or new ad campaign, they often lean into tried and true methods of evergreen content, and then they think about seasonal content, top of mind audience recognition, and then there's also one-offs. How do I program for things like the Queen's Jubilee birthday? But what I think is becoming more and more apparent is brands want to own breaking news, celebrating the culture of news, because brands can actually break news, because at your disposal is this original digital platform that allows you the permission to do that. How cool. So what are you going to do to celebrate that? Lean into understanding the architecture of these platforms are about to break news. Your role in this digital universe is to do three things. It's to build content that fuels connections, conversations, and engagement. That's it, period. And how amazing is it with these amplifiers that we have today that you have permission to do that? So don't worry about things like click-through rate, don't worry about things like brand score, worry about how you actually fundamentally put those three things at the heart of the consumer. The future of the connected devices is going to be perhaps built into the fabric of the products that we're actually wearing. The ability for them to have multi-purpose, the ability to take a biometrics reader off my wrist and it turns into a tablet pen. The interconnected devices are going to be far more important than they are today. We all understand that the quantified self is the ability for me to track my own data, and if I want to brag about it, I can in all the social channels that you experience. But that becomes really boring. Where it becomes really effective is that, can I actually monitor things about me for a better purpose for tomorrow? Like my yoga instructor would know what my dietary habits are and what my fitness levels are. And so does my personal trainer. So how do I collect data on myself for other benefits? I think that's where the future of the connected devices is headed, and I can't wait to see where that space goes. And part of how that's going to happen is curation. The art of curation is alive and well, and these curated experiences allow people to feel like they're part of something that's really worth discovering, because it strips out all of the rubbish that you don't think is important and only delivers the most valuable piece of information by the most valuable people. And I think that's absolutely remarkable. With almost 8 billion people on the planet, and 50% of those are under the age of 30, they've never known life without the internet. Of those, there are 6 billion mobiles, and about 1 billion of them are smartphones. But with all this connectedness, what's missing is the human experience. And without that, we'll never be a connection generation, which is exactly what I think needs to happen. Because with all this digital and all these devices, I've never felt so alone. So how can you help me understand fundamentally how we change that and become the connection generation?